Good morning. This is Kellaland on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
A Sioux Falls organization that advocates for transgender youth has filed a lawsuit against Governor Noem and the state Secretary of Health. In December, the South Dakota Department of Health terminated a contract it had with the Transformation Project.
Using grant money, the contract allowed the organization to create a community health worker position to help those who experience disparate health outcomes, like members of the LGBTQ+ community. The lawsuit is being taken on by a team of lawyers at Robbins Kaplan Law Firm.
We're very concerned with the state's actions and particularly the impact it has on South Dakota's LGBTQ community. And so we wanted to take a stand and send a message that we will fight any unconstitutional or unlawful action by the state of South Dakota.
To read more about the contract and the lawsuit, visit this story on Kellaland.com. This comes as the bill to ban gender-affirming care for transgender kids is now heading to the governor's desk. The Senate passed House Bill 1080 on a vote of 30-4. It prohibits the prescription of puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and gender-affirming surgery for minors.
Transgender groups and advocates are planning protests across South Dakota tomorrow to voice their opposition to the bill. The protests will be held in Sioux Falls, Rapid City, Brookings, and Vermilion. Fentanyl test strips are one step closer to becoming legal in South Dakota. House Bill 1041 passed a Senate committee and is now headed to the full Senate. The test strips detect the presence of the deadly drug or its analogs in other controlled substances.
South Dakota has a record 104 drug-related deaths in 2021, including 29 from fentanyl. The bill would create an exception in state drug paraphernalia law so people could legally use the test strips. The measure has already made it through the House.
Coming up later this morning, there's another public hearing for the proposed social studies standards. It'll be held at the Rushmore Hotel in Rapid City at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. The meeting was supposed to be held tomorrow to allow teachers to testify, but the Department of Education moved it to today instead.
Now let's send it over to meteorologist Brian Carstens for a check of our forecast. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. Well, starting the day here with some patchy fog, chilly temperatures, especially over the deeper snow cover areas. That's a subject we'll be monitoring over the weekend as we resume some of the melting that has occurred this week, clearly showing some of the deeper snow cover over Sioux Falls, which is technically right now at 15 inches on the ground. We'll see what that number looks like by Monday, though. Today, probably not a lot of melting in Sioux Falls, but close to freezing. 30 degrees for high, 37 Mitchell, 37 Winter, and 50 degrees in Rapid City. We'll sort out the details of the weekend forecast in just a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Brian. Bond is set at $100,000 cash only for a Sioux Falls man accused of having child pornography and an illegal doll. According to court documents, 38-year-old Jeffrey Dykes allegedly bought or possessed a childlike sex doll on Wednesday. That's the same day he was booked into the Minnehaha County Jail.
Dykes also faces 7 counts of child pornography. Court documents say those crimes date back to August of 2022. Dykes made his first court appearance Thursday afternoon. 2 people had to be helped out of an SUV after a crash in Custer County. The Custer County Sheriff says it happened on Ghost Canyon Road just before 10 o'clock Thursday morning. 3 people were inside the SUV when it lost control and slid onto its side.
The 2 people were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. 3 dogs were also in the SUV at the time, but they were not hurt. If you travel in downtown Sioux Falls, you'll want to know about an upcoming construction project. Starting Monday, 6th Street will be closed from Phillips to Weber. That's when the Unity Bridge project begins.
The current bridge on 6th Street will be demolished to make way for the new one. Crews will start by building a platform to work from in the river channel.
Certainly, the flows in the Big Sioux River are down right now. We're monitoring them in the next few months, but now would be the good time to get in there, demolish the existing bridge, start constructing the new bridge, hopefully before the flows increase.
For a map of detours, head to this story right here on Kellaland.com.
Devin Clark continues to make his presence felt in the world of mixed martial arts. Clark has been a professional fighter for 12 years and a part of UFC since 2016.
The Sioux Falls native earned his 8th win in the UFC ranks on Saturday in Las Vegas and says he could be ready to climb back into the octagon in as little as 2 weeks.
Some fights I get a broken hand or a broken foot, or just like the fight took a toll on me mentally where I'm just over it for a little bit. But not this time. We had a really good victory. It was a tough fight, but it was good. And we checked all those boxes that I was looking to check.
30-20.
The man known as Brown Bear is now 8-7 in UFC and has an overall professional record of 14-7. And that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, weather today after a chilly start. Numbers eastern Ketherland coming back up into, well, close to 30 degrees, maybe even better than that along the James Valley and westward this afternoon. So, for this time of the year, I would really put that into a pretty good category. Pierre may not quite make it to 49. That might be a bit optimistic, but I would say plenty of 40s, certainly from that direction west to Rapid City, where it will be closer to 50 for a high. Overnight tonight, not as chilly in eastern Ketherland, mid-teens, and then we're on good solid footing tomorrow with that southwest breeze. We'll be back to the 35 to 40 degree range in Sioux Falls. Aberdeen will be close to that, and there are those 50s showing up around Phillip and Faith and Dupree and all those communities in the western part of Ketherland. Going into Sunday, maybe some slight reductions on temperatures, but it's just not anything too dramatic. A lot of the numbers are driven by the leftover and all that snow cover on the ground. That tends to be the biggest factor this time of the year. And as a result of, again, a few subtle items on Sunday, we just shaved the temperature maybe a couple degrees in a few spots. Monday, though, we might be able to get right back into the 50s again, and I don't expect any changes until after Valentine's Day. At that point, we can watch this storm track coming out of the desert southwest. See this low right there? Yeah, starts to kick up into Kansas, and then some of these trends are shifting maybe a bit farther north. There's still a lot here to examine, so I'm not going to get too carried away with high chances of rain or snow yet, but I want to make sure we're acknowledging that we got a storm system coming up from the southwest, and if it does track far enough north, it could put down some snows for parts of Ketherland. And then if whatever happens with that one, then there's another one on its heels coming out probably by Wednesday and Thursday. The only big problem with this thing, wind. There's going to be a fairly good component of wind on the backside of it. So we'll keep an eye on where it tracks. It doesn't necessarily have to get super close to us to give us a wind belt through this part of the country. So more on that to come. I'm sure many of you will be paying attention to that. 30s for the weekend in Sioux Falls. We'll start with today at 30. We have 50 this afternoon in Rapid City. Outlook tonight, we're down to 16 in Huron, 17 degrees in Chamberlain. And that 7-day forecast. There we go, close to 40 on Monday and Tuesday. Chances of rain or snow come into the picture Wednesday. And then by Thursday, it might be another hit of snow. Could be some wind with that. So those are things that, we'll just keep picking that apart as we get closer in time. Aberdeen, enjoy the weekend, mid-30s, mid to upper 30s Monday, Tuesday. Pierre, central South Dakota, plenty of opportunities, close to 50. And boy, that feels pretty nice, doesn't it? And it looks like Rapid City in the west, even 50-degree weather Monday. That could be raised, by the way. That Monday forecast could be surprisingly warm. 55 to 60 is not out of the question. Check out more details at KELOLAND.com.